Hey team, welcome back to the channel. My name is AJ, I am your host. And if it's your first time visiting the channel, welcome. I talk all things short-term rental, Airbnb, VRBO, you name it. And in today's episode, I'm gonna walk through step-by-step on how I plan on achieving financial independence through my Airbnbs and how you can do exactly the same thing. Obviously, financial independence is everyone's dream. Just imagine being able to sit on the beach, sipping your favorite cocktail, and only working 7 minutes a day. I mean, who could argue with that? And there are hundreds of people or gurus or storytellers who are ready to sell you the next scam about how you can do this within the next 10 days. But in reality, I don't necessarily buy it. So I can really tell you only my plans, and if it resonates with you, feel free to do something similar. And to be honest, this video came out because since I've started this Airbnb and have seen just how profitable it's been, I've started to really think or rethink how I'm trying to plan for my future. And how is it that I could possibly take this side hustle and turn it into a full-time business? And of course, I've got a long way to go, but at least I've got a plan about how I want to get there. And that's what I'm gonna share with you today. And I'm gonna be sharing a lot of personal information on this, so if you could hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, I would be forever grateful, and you guys are rock stars. So let's start with how am I actually defining financial independence? And the way that I am basically defining financial independence for me is being able to pay off all of my debts and then some. So let's start there with basically how much I'm spending each and every month, and what does that ultimately mean for how much I need to bring in as far as cash flow to cover it? Now, expenses range from anything from mortgage to going out to eat, to groceries, to gas, to puppy food. I could go and walk through each and every expense that I have, but in reality, it doesn't really matter. It's how much do I actually have to make in cash flow in order to live the life that I want to live. And that number comes to be about $7,000. Now, not all of that is just on me. My wife and I split a lot of this depending on our various salaries. Now, could we be more aggressive on our expenses and how much we're spending and how much we're saving each and every month, and look at this more from a FIRE method, which is financial independence, retire early, and be much more aggressive with all of our different expenses? But in reality, I don't think that that's necessarily the life that I want to live. I really am comfortable with how much I'm able to go out, how much I'm able to do on vacations, and how much I'm able to save. And this is something that's really important for me because it makes me ultimately happy. So we're just gonna focus on the expenses. We're not gonna go into my or my wife's salaries. We're just gonna focus on how much will it take for us to cover that $7,000 a month. And if we can do that, this would make me very comfortable with leaving my 9 to 5 really whenever I wanted to. So let's start with exactly how I am planning on hitting that $7,000 number by acquiring Airbnb properties. So let's start with my first property in Blue Ridge. So on average, that property is making me, since I started, around $1,843. Now recently, if you wanna click on this video, after you've done watching this video, you can see exactly how much that's been making me in the last couple of months, but on average, it's about $1,843. And that's total profit, by the way. So if we take that $1,843 number and we take that out of the 7,000 goal, that's going to leave us with $5,157 that we still have to make in profit each and every month in order to replace that $7,000 goal. So let's just take that Blue Ridge property. How many more Blue Ridge properties would it take me in order to actually be able to hit that 7,000 number? And the answer is 2.8 more properties. So in total, I would only need around 4 properties if they're all performing around what my Blue Ridge property is performing at in order to replace that $7,000 a month income, which honestly does not sound too unrealistic. I mean, sometimes we create these scenarios in our head where you see a goal and it just seems completely insurmountable and we're never gonna reach it. But in reality, if we start to break it down by the numbers, it's actually totally achievable. At least this goal is. So how the heck am I gonna be able to get 3 more properties when I spent $27,000 just acquiring the first one? And the answer is all about cash flow. That first property that's making me around $1,843 per month is actually the secret about how I'm gonna be able to turn that into other properties. Firstly, because each and every month, I'm taking that profit and I'm going to use it in order to purchase other properties. And I only have about 4 months to go to completely repay myself that $27,000 down payment. That on top of all of the money that I continued to save since I had already purchased the property, I'm gonna be able to take those 2 savings and invest that into probably a better property that's hopefully going to make me more money. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna take my profits from my Blue Ridge property, the other property, I'm gonna combine those in order to make sure that I can invest that in a third property and do that process one more time. So it's really kind of this snowball effect where the results kind of become exponential. And that's exactly why I chose Airbnb in order to do this. Not only because it's really great as far as cash flow, but on top of all the cash flow, each and every month, I'm getting equity in the property, which is paying off that mortgage. And then hopefully in the future, the property prices will continue to increase and I'll be able to sell it ultimately for more money. So how long is this actually going to take me? Well, right now I am actively putting in tons of offers in a certain market that I am absolutely certain is going to explode. And so I am doing my best to get a property there. So my hope is that by the end of this year, I'm gonna have another property that is up and running. And then my plan is for next year, which is 2023, to purchase 2 more properties, which seems kind of scary as I think about it now, from standing here with just 1 property to, a year and a half from now having 4, but that is ultimately my plan. In 18 months to be able to have 4 different properties that are making me around $1,800 a month that are going to substitute my income in the future. And that's exactly what I'm hoping to show you 18 months from now, is the ability whenever I want to walk away from my 9 to 5. Now, I hope that this was a great example about how you can do exactly the same thing. I have lots of videos on the channel that talk through how to find a perfect property, how to get it up and running, how to make sure you can squeeze as much profit out of the property as possible, and I will continue to make videos about those subjects. Let me know your thoughts about how you're planning or have already walked away from your 9 to 5. Let me know in the comments. And if you have any specific questions for me about markets or deal analysis, feel free to message me at ajhustlesyt@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.